Hi, welcome to Wisdom on the Front Porch. And on the front porch today, I'm visiting with James. We are inviting you to come in, and we're just having a regular conversation. There's not about any one thing in particular, just getting to know each other, and we invite you to join us.
Oh,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you?
I am good.
Awesome. Awesome. I was just trying to set up. I have like a double monitor and it keeps my one monitor keeps going off and on. So I just unplugged it. I'm just done.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't do it anymore. What's going on? How is everything?
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. I'm looking at your pictures back there. Are they fish?
Oh, they're just mindset stuff. So there's like
Yeah.
the typical
Iceberg.
iceberg.
Yeah.
Mindset is everything, teamwork, and the other one says success. So this
Oh,
is just my
nice.
work home office. So yeah, it's all about your mind, right? So
That's right.
that's what I'm about.
Why, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Sure does. It starts there, right? And then it becomes an action, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
And
So
got to have that idea.
it's definitely a pleasure meeting you. I met Dave Shemetsky, and we traveled in similar circles, we'll say. I was supposed to meet with him last week, I think it was, but I'm like in big pharma, so I have a ton of work, like, and I'm just
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
fit us in. So I do have a job. And there's a lot of uncertainty with things. He got let go from Pfizer. I don't know if you know his story. And
Not a whole lot about that
yeah,
one, anyways.
yeah, but I've been here 25 years with Bristol Myers Squibb, and there's a lot of changes, we'll just say. So, I'm trying to get my urgency. I'm trying to think about what, like I mentioned in the message, there's a lot I got to really think about because you never know. I control it, I think. So I can really make some changes here. So we'll see what happens,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
work you know, you
definitely.
and I can do. I want to
That's
get
all
in
you
a
can
spot like
do.
you guys, you know.
That's funny. That's funny. Um, so if you didn't have your, at the sake of sounding like a typical coach, if you didn't have your job at the pharmaceutical company, what would you do?
Well, I had a history of real estate, so I did it for 8 years.
Okay.
So that was something that was always an option. I was actually really, really good. And the only reason why I left was because of time. And so I'm a kind of like a mixture of many. What is it? The jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
And so I
The
had the
the correct
opportunity.
saying is jack of all trades, master of one.
One, I like that better. I'll go with that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
So I've
I
done,
just heard that a few years ago, and it's like, oh,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So I thought about that, but I really like what I do, I guess currently. I work with the teams. I work with a global team. And I mean young people right out of school, all different ages. They're clinical scientists, I mean crazy PhDs, you name it, all the acronyms, we'll just say. And I do a lot of building with them just to get mindset stuff like that. Business building, leadership capabilities, influence, persuasion, all that stuff kind of ties into what they do. And they manage the studies, phase one through phase four. So, and it's
okay.
very boring stuff as far as the work, but I like to be a part of it. And that's pretty much what I do. And I have a passion for it. When I did real estate, I used to manage 30 agents and I used to hold meetings and do corings and gatherings. And I kind of
Wow.
moved away with that because I got in the corporate world, had a boss. It was really weird for me when I first started out because I was like, I never really had a, like, not that I never had one, but a true career. But it's
Yeah,
like I feel like and I said this to Dave, and him and I really correlate together or really align together. I kind of feel like I'm a square peg in a round hole because I'm like a
I
misfit.
hear.
I just don't fit. And Michael Faber, him and I, we really
Oh,
hit it
yeah,
off.
he's great. Yeah.
He's amazing. So we had a nice call, and he was telling me about the movement maker, and I said the tough challenge for me is my schedule because I'm just in deep with this company, and I just got to
Yeah.
find a way to do an I don't like to say a plan B because I think that's a failure. You're starting with a mindset. So a plan A
Right.
is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
And I have to do something because I would like to do that, like speak, do things, get around with people, get to know my network and get back in the game. I did this without an internet when I did real estate. I built like some crazy connections with people.
That's
And it's very
awesome.
easy. LinkedIn's easy. That's like I live on it. And I really think that I have like just untapped potential that I could really explode if I just didn't have my job. But obviously, we have the mortgage. You got to eat. I have a kid. I
Yeah.
have,
Yeah, you
you
got
know,
to take care of
but
things
there's
too.
other ways, right?
Yeah.
There's other ways. And I just think, why not? Like, if I can do this, why not? Why not? Right.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me. Just really enthusiastic about what I do. Whatever I do, I like to just go all in. And
Oh,
it's tough
the
for me.
only
Like I
way to
said to
go.
yeah, like I said to Michael Faber, I said it's gonna be a like when I go, it's gonna go. You're gonna get tired of me. Like if I join, he's got the movement maker and I'm in
Oh,
the group
yeah.
and we talk and well, it's just great. It's just the people. It's all about relationships. That's all I've
Yeah.
learned. And
I like
it's a
that.
pleasure to meet you, really getting to know you. I really want to learn a little bit about you. You said something about a magazine. David's asking me about books and stuff. And it's funny because you're going to laugh when I tell you, maybe. I had a stint with Market America, and I started with Market America in 2013. At 20, what is it, 2009. And I became my wife and I now, I give her credit because she did the makeup side, I did the business building side. And we built a team in 13 states and two in 3 countries in about 2 years. And I
Wow.
realized, wow, that's a little difficult with the people because I realized how lazy people are. Like when you
Yeah.
show them, sit with them, you go with them. I mean, we did 40, 50 people in the room. I rented things out. I had admins. I mean, we really went all out, made a lot of money, but then you see people start flickering and disappearing, and you show them what to do, demonstrate live, and they call them UBPs. So we used to do that. I got a lot of knowledge doing that, and I used to do a lot of speaking. My biggest crowd was 15,000. Thought it was awesome.
Wow.
The electric's amazing, and I was like, "Wow, I just got to do that." So they got me on the learning circuit. I was doing a lot of meetings. They're called corings, that's what they called them, and it really
Okay.
taught me a lot. And I was still at Bristol Myers, and I think I leverage a lot of that with them. The doctors are boring. They're great, don't get me wrong, but they're just very scientifically focused. But I have a way with people, I guess, and you'll kind of learn that as you know me. I have an energy. I'm a little different than these scientists. They're not like reading Wall Street journals and staring at things. And so
Yeah.
I even literally got hired from a doc. I had no background in pharmaceutical industry. I did, and I got hired, and I took it because my wife was pregnant, and then we had another one, and I was all over the map. Let me tell you, I was like nonstop traveling, this and that, and at the time, it's important that time with your family. Right now, they're all older now. And literally my little one graduated at 18 just this week. This is the
Oh,
fourth. Yeah, Giovanni.
congratulations.
So
Our grandson
yeah,
graduated this year too.
yeah, so it's awesome to have that. And I just want to be an example. And I've always been a business-minded person, but I'm kind of trapped, not trapped, but I'm in a position that it's not, they're outsourcing stuff to India. There's a lot of stuff going on, people getting laid off. And I don't
Right.
worry because I'm very big into God. Like I'm a super, like I just know God's got me either way. I don't really get frustrated. I just go
Awesome.
all in. He's got me. Like,
That's
and
right.
I am so, my son serves for the church and really invested. And that's where Dave and I hit really good. And even Michael, um, he said that it all starts with God. So I
Yeah.
talk about God a lot. I think he's wakes us up every morning. I think we become, you got to be grateful because there's people when you moan and say, I'm in traffic or this, you know what? You're lucky you're in traffic. You have a car. You can see to drive. Like the
That's
little
right.
things that I think about. And I think it's just important just to be grateful every day that you're here, but then make an impact every day that you're here. How can I make the room when I walk in the room, what's the temperature of the room when I come in? How can I make the room better than when I wasn't there when I leave? What can I do?
Yeah.
And that's what I try to shoot for every time. So
I like that. Leaving the room
yeah,
better than when you got there. I grew
yeah,
up with that. That's,
yeah,
what I didn't understand at the time what they were really saying.
yeah.
But yeah.
And what is it pretty much? I kind of looked at some of this stuff. So you're really established, which is awesome. And David said some very nice things about you. And I
Oh,
said,
that's
well,
nice. Thank you.
yeah,
He's a great guy.
no, he really is. And he was saying you're pretty well into it. So I looked at the porch and it's like into the porch and all the magazine. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I'm interested.
Yeah.
Like it's new to
Yeah.
me.
So Wisdom on the Front Porch was just an idea. I actually thought it was going to turn into
Okay.
a book because that's usually what I do is I write a lot of books. Um,
Awesome.
but it actually ended up turning into a podcast because
Okay.
I've been podcasting. I was on someone else's platform. It's like I want to do my own.
Okay.
My podcast was called Value in You, and I didn't like it. I
Okay.
liked the podcast. I just wasn't settled with the title, even though
Right.
that's what I talk about. And so I was going through some of my book stuff one time, and I saw Wisdom on the Front Porch, and it's like, that's it. That's gonna be the
That's
title.
catchy. That's very catchy.
Yeah. And somebody over I don't remember if they were in France or where they were, somewhere in the UK maybe. But they didn't understand what that meant. So I explained to them, your front porch is where your family gathers together. Everybody's there, you're sitting with grandma snapping peas or beans and cutting up apples for pies and whatnot, but you're learning stories. Maybe you're all gathering together to play music or sing songs. But it's always a place to gather to learn wisdom from each other, knowledge from each other, share with each other, and it doesn't have to be a front porch. It can be in the grocery store line. It can be, in a parking lot. See a neighbor or something out at the mailbox, across the fence, talking to the UPS guy, wherever it is.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of rolled from there. And the platform I had before says, great, you have a guest, but we really want to hear your thoughts. And I thought, that's good, but that's not what I'm all about.
Okay.
I want the guest. That's what energizes me. That's what I feed on. And I get complimented for being a good interviewer. I never thought I'd ever hear those words, but
Yeah, right.
but it's like, okay, just having a conversation is a good thing. So it goes from there. And then I see people having magazines, and I thought, I don't want to wait until I'm really established, then do it and be, so far behind. I don't want to just jump on the bandwagon, but I do want to make an impact, like you were saying. And, but I want my magazine to be a tool that entrepreneurs use. I wanted
Okay.
to teach them, how do you get through the struggles? How do you navigate this? AI is coming up. What do we do with that?
Yeah.
Even though AI has been around for a long time now, it's really popular and it's advertised and
Yeah.
everything. And with Chat GPT and some of the others, we've got so many more resources. So I have columnists that are there every month, and they write something almost every month. Um, but most of them write something every other month. It only comes out 6 times a year. And the reason I did that was I don't want to just be pumping out a magazine every month. I want this
Right.
magazine to have quality. I want it to really give you some meat, potatoes, maybe some dessert, and
Word I use. Oh my
appetizer
God.
once in a while. Um, so yeah, and it's slowly getting there. I have a subscriber. Had another one who's going to subscribe, and I just haven't heard from her, so I don't know if she got hurt or what happened. Um, so I'm just slowly getting started, but I'm getting it out there, and I'm learning the process,
Yeah.
and it's another big learning curve. But I love to do formatting. That's I enjoy that a lot, so I don't mind it. Um, but yeah, I have a few people that I do send the link to. You can see the first one for free on the
Yeah.
website, but the other two you actually have to subscribe to see
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And I've seemed to have gotten some really great articles. The cover issue this time is going to be with Steve Kidd,
Okay.
and he's been an entrepreneur for a long time, so I'm excited to see what he brings
Awesome.
to it. We're talking about living your life while growing your business.
Yes.
Because I figure summer's here, we got to
It's a
go
nice
live
theme.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Catchy
So
taglines. Very catchy.
yeah, so that's what that's about. Um,
Okay.
then I've got the podcast Reading Between the Words. So if you've written a book, you can come on there, talk about who you are, what you do. But we also kind of tell the story behind the book. Why did you write the book? What do you want
Okay.
the reader to get out of it?
Hmm.
Because I wanted something more for my authors, in my anthologies or who have written other books, another venue for them to be seen, but give it more of a heartfelt for the reader. Because if you can, if the person listening says,
Yeah.
oh, I really like that author, I need to go get their book, or wow, that book sounds amazing, I need to go do that.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. And
Yeah.
yeah, everything I do is with heart and hope, and
That's the way
and
to do it
lifting
because
people up.
it's connection. It's just connection. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing when you can't put something down because of connection. It just
Oh, yeah.
and I used to say that just even with my group, if I can get 10 or 15 people in a room, even just one, if I can make a difference, and
Yeah.
they come up to me afterward, and I'm always careful because pride gets in the way when you get the people that say, "Oh, great, this," and I'm very humble around that. I feel like that's something that's you just got to be yourself, and it's all
Yeah.
from God. It's a light from God. It's really what it is. It's
Yeah.
a light from God. He makes me this way. I didn't do it, and it's
That's
just
right.
really cool. And I love it. I love that. And it's funny with the book because Dave says, "You got to get a book, man. You're electric." And I said, "I have so much things. I've never wrote a book, but
I do that. I teach you how.
yeah, we can
Actually,
do that
I'm
then. We're
writing
gonna have to,
courses.
I
Yeah.
got to figure out then, like, because I just have like all this in my head, right?
Yeah.
So I just never wrote it out. And he's like, "It's not that intimidating. It's not that hard." So
No,
I'm like,
I
"But
give you a really simple outline to go through.
yeah." And
Yeah.
that might be, we'll have to take that step then, because I think I
Okay.
have enough, probably a million books I could probably write with my mind. Not that, I want to rush them, right? But it's got to
Right.
be quality, like you said. I'm real big on that. And maybe, like, I guess you get writer's block. Is that what it's called? People say. And
Some
if you
people
think too
do.
long, you just got to get it out there too, though. You can't wait
Yeah.
forever either. So I think you would know that better than me, being a book
Yeah.
writer.
And we talk about writer's block. What is blocking you?
Yeah,
Because it's not necessarily that you don't know what to say. It's either something you've already written is not making sense to your brain, and so it won't let you go forward, or it's not really the message you want to say.
yeah.
Um, those are usually the two most common.
Okay.
But
That's awesome.
yeah, so yeah, I've got a gal I'm working with right now. It's been an amazing journey. She wanted to write a children's book and finally um, decided to do it. And she's an illustrator herself. So she's doing her own illustrations. And as she's going through this book, we're about halfway done, and she's realized, I don't like this. I want to
Yeah.
write books that are the kind of books I would want to read. And I'm not a
Okay.
child, and I don't have any kids around me, so I don't know what they want. And the illustrations she's doing is, well, I've already started them. I'm halfway done. They're just kind of flat. They're great
Okay.
for a children's book,
Yeah.
but they're not what she wants to do. So she's learned a lot through this process, and we've had to talk about ways to keep her motivated to
Yeah.
keep writing. This last time we came up with, okay, this is what you're going to do. Because I tell everybody this, who's sitting in the chair? Who are you writing the book for? One person. That's all you ever think about, whether you're doing a speech, whether you're giving a talk somewhere, writing a book, an article. You just have to think about the one person that you're writing to. So I says, what I want you to do is go get a picture. And we talked about the person that thinks of, and she thinks of a little boy who loves the color red. And I says, okay, you go find a picture of this little boy who's wearing a red cape and a red shirt, maybe red goggles,
Yeah.
and just has this huge smile on his face. And you take that picture and you put it right next to where you're doing your illustrations. So anytime you get frustrated, you look at that face that is so excited about you getting this book done. And she was actually smiling and giggling afterwards. It's like, yeah, I'll do that.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
because it brings you back in focus, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yes,
And it takes it off of how much she doesn't like doing this, that this isn't what she wants to. Well, I'm doing it for this person, so I need to keep
yeah.
going.
And that's that why that you're speaking about a why, it
Yeah,
sounds like. So it's like, you have this process you do, you're good to go. Everybody deviates. I think motivation
yeah,
is a word, right? But it's discipline really and focus that gets you right
yes,
back. And then what's my reason? What's the reason behind why did I even do this? And once you
yeah,
learn that and you can nail that down, it's a wrap pretty much.
yeah.
So
I
no, that's
love
awesome.
that.
That's
Yeah. And I
awesome.
love that you mentioned God and things because without me even realizing it, I've got him in everything that I do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't even realize I put that in there.
Yeah. And it's weird
But
in my business where I'm at with pharmaceutical, they're very PC, political correct.
yeah,
And I literally wear suit jackets with like Daniel, like go cross. Like I'm not like outrageous. I don't go crazy. But
Yeah.
honestly, okay. And if they say something, I made it 25 years and maybe they will. Like, okay. I still wear like I have like the fish. You'll see them some of my
Yeah.
posts. I have the fish, the 2 loaves and a 5,000. I wear that and I get a lot of compliments and I've had some people say to me, well, when they're down and out, like they're down, because I do a lot of coaching with people, like life
Oh,
coaching.
nice.
Yeah, I'm like a counselor, it seems like. I got a team of
You
about
probably
200
are.
people. Yeah, it's like 200 people. And when I talk to them, I feel like I just give them I say, this is just coming from my way. I'm not an expert, but if it was in my situation, this is how I would approach it. I just want to just
Nice.
get that out there. I'm not an expert. I don't know all the variables, but this is just my
Yeah.
thoughts. And that's kind of how I approach it. And some of these people, getting back to the religion thing, they're saying, well, I'm not real religious. And I had one say, I'm not real spiritual. I said, so what are you then? What do you believe in? Because obviously you're acknowledging God. And they're like, well, I know there's a God. I said, okay. So we're getting somewhere. But sometimes
Yeah.
it takes time to get mature in faith. And everybody's
Yeah.
different. And I'm not a judge. That's up to them and the relationship between them and Jesus. It's up to them. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
just give my input. And it's kind of funny. One of the biggest, I would say, God, awards was the two that came back to me and said, I said some prayers and it worked out. The one had a situation, health situation. I did pray. I feel closer. I did go to my church. And sometimes it's not even about church. It's just a relationship. Like you said, grocery
Yeah.
store, it could be
Well,
anywhere,
church is the people.
porch. But
Yeah.
it is the community being around
Yeah.
believers really helps me. But you got to
Absolutely.
talk to God. He's interested in your heart. That's it. He's not interested in how much money you make or your bank account
Yeah.
or it's just how it is. And it's one of the things I can honestly say that I really enjoy when I get the people coming back and saying it. So I'm trying to be a recruiter for the Lord, and I'm pretty
Good.
good at it. And I did it with the market America. Why can't I do it with that? And just
That's
anything.
right.
Like I can build anything, but I just use God's speed. And I think if I can just continue focusing and just make a positive difference, everybody has their stories, and I'm okay with that. And I just think, how can I help benefit or help them see? And even when I'm down and out, can I lean on them? Because it's a two-way street. Once I built
Oh,
a
yeah.
relationship, like when Dave was telling me that his situation, what he said was very similar. And he was there longer at Pfizer than I was at, I'm still PMS, but I think it was like 30 something years. He was telling me his whole background and everything. And we really connected. And he even said about the God, like sometimes they get weird. They do. They give you like they get quiet and awkward. But I'm just like I'm in a senior leadership team with VPs, everybody's in there, and I'm saying stuff. And I'm like, if I say it, and then God will open another door. Once one door shuts, sometimes as they say, you focus on it too long. There's another one, you're going to ignore the door that he's actually opening.
Oh,
You got
that's
to
that's
open the
really
door,
wise. I like that. I haven't heard
right?
that before.
Right. So I really like to just focus on what's in front of me, one foot at a time. It's a season. Everything's a season. It's just a season. You got fall, winter, spring, right? And summer,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't last, but you want to be prepared and be ready for when the storm is over. And that's my goal, to always be prepared because there's definitely going to be storms in everybody's life, whether it's a health issue, relationship, writer's block, you get some coaching from you and then you bring him back to say, okay, we can just have the little boy in red, whatever it may be. But there's
Yeah.
always that just staying open and just know that keep going. It's just keep going because it's going to pass and there
Yeah.
will be a good, and then
Absolutely. Yeah.
so
It's
it's kind of,
temporary. Everything's temporary.
it really is.
I finally came with the analogy that life is like a river. That river is always moving.
Yes.
It may be times when it seems really still and you're just floating along, and other times you're running those rapids like crazy, or you can get
Yes.
off to the side and walk down the beach, or walk down the
Yeah.
side of the lake and then get back in. There's lots of stuff you can do. That's why somebody told me once, so you can't ever take a break. When you take a break, you're starting all over again. And it's like,
Yes.
oh no, you're taking that pause because you need to take times to reassess the situation. What's going on? Am I going where I need to be going?
Absolutely.
Why am I feeling like nothing is happening? Am I just being too impatient and keep trying to dig up the seed to see if any roots are growing on it?
Yep.
Just let it be and keep going.
That's definitely a big key. And I always say when things come out, you have these issues. Everybody has issues or something, right, that comes up. just what is it that's making you feel that way and how can I change it? Not so
Yeah,
much live in the pain, experience the pain, but at the same time, what can I do to alleviate the pain? And then
yeah.
when I move forward, what are the steps I take and try to create the formula because it's different for everybody. It's
Oh,
definitely not
yeah.
my path, might not be your path or Dave's path, but we all get there. We all get there one way or another. It's not, and I think when you deal with an issue or something that comes up, you feel like it's forever at that very moment. Like, wow, why did this happen to me? It happens to everybody. And don't
Yeah.
let them fool you because it happens to everybody, even the big wigs in my
I can
job.
hardly wait till you write your book.
Yeah. So
Just,
I'm
I'm
interested.
listening to you and it's like, yeah, you got
You
to
know what I
get
mean? I have a
it
little bit of
done.
everything. I just have a lot of,
Yeah,
I'm like an old soul, but I've got a lot of
that's
experience
good.
and I just need to
Yeah,
format it. Like you said,
yeah.
God.
People need that old soul.
Yeah.
There's everything is going so fast and everything's new, young,
Yeah.
but you've got to have those old souls coming in because
Yeah.
we just watched this, I don't know what show it was called, but it's like these meteors came and flooded the earth or something, and they had these four, they called them arcs, ready to go in the water. And they wanted all these young people, all these other stuff. And it's like, well, where do you have the old people coming in to tell the stories, to talk about this is how we handled this? You've got to have those old souls in there, or you're gonna lose so much. And I really, the thing that I think, if I had to choose something between the 80s and 90s that I found the worst thing we lost was when they were kicking out all the old people and they only want young people in their business, because a lot of businesses went under because they didn't have that old soul wisdom to
Yeah.
say, hey, yeah, these are great ideas, but if this isn't in place, or if you keep going this way, you're going to miss these steps and all of a sudden it's going to implode on you, which happened. They
Yes.
didn't have that wisdom of age that comes in there.
And it
Um,
really does because I'm 52 now, and not that I'm up there, but you start
but
thinking
still,
differently. When
yeah,
I can say it started happening in my 40s, when I started getting
yeah,
the force, I started realizing the real reality, maybe 30s, like, okay, the dreams of grandeur, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And you start putting things in perspective. And being a father of three boys, I see so much of that me and them when they're younger, especially my youngest Giovanni. He's
yeah.
like entrepreneurial. He does electric work from ninth grade to 12th. He's been doing the
Oh,
co-op
wow.
program, and he absolutely loves like working. And he's already says, I mean, this is a type of child that comes to me and says, Dad, he's not even, we graduated literally yesterday. And he's like, Dad, we gotta create an LLC. Like that's his mindset. And I'm like, I love it. I'm like, wow, really? But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we got a couple things we got to do, but it's hard to tell them like he thinks he's going to get the
Yeah.
6 figures right away. But it's beautiful. I never say no, you can't. That's the last thing you want to
Oh,
say.
good.
You
Yeah.
definitely can, but just
I
let's.
was I was told no, you can't so many times that
Oh
I
God, you
finally
can't.
believed it. And
Yeah,
it's like,
it'll
I don't
hurt
know
you.
when I believed it, but somewhere along the way I believed it. And it's like, no, that's not true.
You can do
I unbelieve
whatever you're
that.
prepared for. I say
Yeah,
you can do anything, but it's got to be. I switch it up. It's you can do anything you're prepared for because you have to prepare. You,
there you
you, you
go.
can't fly. You can't like keep it reality. Like you have to prepare. It's like going when I played sports. I have a mindset. I have a thing I always put on LinkedIn and other things. Corporate athlete because I was an athlete, but I'm in the corporate world now with an athlete mindset because it's always improvement because you can always get better. And
Oh
when I
yeah.
attack something, like I said, I go all in, and then I'm very big on what are the steps that I have to take and learn from the old souls, right? The wisdom people before me, because if they already have achieved it or done it, you go to the places where people are doing what you want to do. And I took that on early in my career when I started at BMS. I had no background. Literally my first 2 weeks, once I got all my training, I started meeting with all the managers because that's where my mind was. I wanted to be a manager. So I started getting perspective over 2 years. I grabbed like all this data and everything. What do they do for one-on-ones? What do you do for any people, bad performers, high performers? How to keep them interested? I mean, multiple things. I had the same set of questions and it developed me. And then I went up to the VPs. Why are they VPs? What do they do differently? We hear the same thing, but one will achieve here,
Yeah,
one stays there. Why? Is it because they got more urgency? What is it that makes them make that move as opposed to just staying put? And you see the people that just, and then you realize the big thing it all came out to some will and just some won't. And
right.
that's really where it comes to, right?
That's
So
true.
where I
That's
look at it,
true.
and I don't sign up for the some won't. I try to help them, but you can't make them do it. They just got to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
You can help them, but I don't give up. And I have a saying I always say, I won't let people fail in a way. So I can't help you until you commit. And if you commit, I won't let you fail. That's what
awesome.
and
I
that's one
love
of the
that.
things I always like to say. So once you commit, we're all in. But you got to commit because if I'm putting my time, everybody's time is very valuable. So I'm very
Yes,
thankful for that because we don't have it. It's limited the 24 hours. It's something I always keep in my perspective, the time. So no, that's awesome.
I'm writing down all these golden nuggets you're
Yeah.
giving me.
Yeah. I can see we're gonna have a lot of fun together. We'll get to definitely get to work together, do things
Yes,
together. Um, I just want to work with people and just build and keep going. And why not? We're all here for a reason to be better. If we can bring up people, that's where it's at. So
that's
that's
right. Absolutely.
really my goal. Everybody. Like be that light because everybody needs it. And there's people that won't bring it out. Some people just don't, and that's okay. But how do you break them out of their shell? What's the
Yeah,
thing that you can do to break them out of the shell and just make them realize their potential? And I've learned that also. I believe in people more than they actually believe in themselves. I was told that many times because I
that's
think it's
awesome.
important. You just have to, but you got to prepare them. So
Yes.
making
Yeah.
calls for sales, right? When I did sales, I didn't sell my first year in business. I did 72 units in houses. That's nuts from what I'm told. Second year,
Yes.
it was good. And then I got back up there in the hundreds, and I was just blowing it up. And I just saturated the market. I mean, I started thinking, what are the successful guys? And I did the same process. Met with a couple superstars, got to know some of the people, worked with them on business, really was paying attention to everything they did, worked with them, sat with them, had coffee, bought them stuff, whatever I got to do to get in the room with them, and just to know what do they do, what's the difference, and that's what closed the gap for me. And then when I would sit with people and they'd say, well, I didn't sell a house or I didn't do this, so how many people did you call or did you reach out to? How many
Yeah.
cards did you hand out? Did you send out any hoagie trays? Believe it or not, on car sales, and people are send them out, lawyers with the bagels. I would throw the food to them. I would just went nuts. And you spend money, it's all right off. But I'll tell you what, is word of mouth is the best way because one mouth
Yes.
tells 100 people, right?
Yes.
And or more maybe. I don't know. But I think it's really important to get it out there and just be positive. I want to be a direct reflection of my actions, and that's really important to me. Because that's what people see, and people don't know. I
Yeah.
think when you have a display, you display who you are. It couldn't be more obvious for people who really know you, who you really are. So it's interesting.
I haven't ever heard that before. Direct reflection of my actions.
Yeah. And
It's
you're
like,
where you are for
wow.
your actions, right? Everybody.
Yeah,
And if you sit back and eat potato chips on the couch, that's okay. That's the life you choose. But don't complain if you're not doing something to get to your
that's
goal,
right.
right? Meat
That's
and
right.
potatoes is everything, like you said earlier. That's a funny term I use. You got to do the whole. I like to know the meat and potatoes of everything. Figure it out. Go from there. And I love meat and potatoes. I'm a steak eater.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I
Like
like
we've
my.
got a grill. We use it all year
That's all
long.
we do. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the steak. I'm big into the steak. Huge. Texas
Yeah.
Roadhouse is my favorite because I get to pick it.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
that's my good food. And then I got this Italian place that we go to. I'm in, so just so you know, I'm in Quakertown / Sellerville area in Pennsylvania. So that's where I
Okay.
live at. And we moved from Langhorne. So I had to find like a steak place. So we found, of course, there's one. I was like, this is beautiful. Let's buy the house.
Oh, nice. Nice.
but we're in the area. But yeah, food's
Yeah,
important. It brings people together.
it
That's what I've
does.
learned. It
It
really
does.
does. Think about it. If you really do, drinks and better. Now, I don't drink. I don't do any of that. Nothing against it, but that also does. But just community fellowship, being together, whatever it
Yeah.
takes. It's
Yeah.
amazing. People will open up to you when you talk to them and just break up. Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah. My husband, when we were first together, I used to talk to anybody in the line at the store, and he would get so embarrassed. And he'd go, "Don't talk to them." I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, you don't know them." I go, "Well, I'm not going to get to know them either, am I?" He says, "We're just
exactly.
talking." And he talked to me about it afterwards one time. He goes, "Why do you do that? How do you do that?" And I says, "One, I do it because we're all people.
That's
It's
it.
boring standing in line. It's a long
Yes.
line. People get upset. Let's
Yes.
just talk, have conversation. It makes it go by faster." He goes, "Yeah, but you don't know these people." I go, "They're people, just like you and I are people, and you're not going to get to know them. I mean, we're not committing to a lifelong relationship. We're just having a conversation."
Yeah.
And probably about 11, 12 years, mm, yeah, after we were married, we go to this restaurant. He just starts talking to the waitress. He'd never done that before. Good, I'm rubbing
You
off
guys
on
know, so you're rubbing off on.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we built this real good relationship with the people at the restaurant there. It was a small town. We were doing great. And it was just interesting to see that he wasn't, it's like there was this fear before, or there was this, they're workers, they're beneath you. You don't talk to them. And it's like, no,
I have a
no,
good
they're just
segue to
people.
that when you're finished. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was, and we don't have Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore, and I love chicken. And it's just you just reminded me of something. So there was this guy sweeping outside of Kentucky Fried. So my wife, we've been married 27 years and counting. So it's the best times of my life. I love it. So I was driving and I saw Kentucky Fried down in Langhorne, and they had a new one. So the guy sweeping and everything, and on my car, I literally have the S with Jesus on it and the front of it. And the guy just did the sign of the cross, and he had ashes. It was Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
And I thought it was, I didn't like, I was raised Catholic, but now I'm Baptist, but God's God, we'll just say
Yeah.
for the sake. But he had the ashes on, and I knew that he had it. And then it was a pretty burly looking fellow, we'll say. He was the maintenance guy. So, like you said, beneath you. I don't look at people
Yeah.
I'm clear, is what I say, clear. Like there's no race, I'm clear. Um, so he was walking around and came around, and I went into Kentucky Fried. I looked at him, and as he was looking at it, he did a sign across and was like that. And I said, "That's awesome." Talked to him for a little bit, and he said to me, "Can I have a hug?" I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "A brother in Christ." I didn't even know this guy, and I was in a suit and tie, so it was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Literally, I actually had my jacket and a tie on, and I usually take my tie off because the ride home. But I hugged him, went inside, and he like ordered the chicken. He came back in, and we had an exchange and talked a little bit about God. And he said his favorite passage and this and that. And and he said to me that he just came to Christ
Oh,
recently,
wow.
and then seeing me made his day. And the other guy
Awesome.
said he's really, literally I don't know, maybe a manager or whatever it was, said that don't mind him. He talks a lot. I guess because he thought I was dressed up. I'm one of them, like the suits.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's absolutely fine. I love this guy. It's awesome. We connected very
That's
well. The guy was
cool.
kind of thrown off that I'm talking to this guy that's like a janitor, and I got a suit and tie on, and it's like
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me like God hugging um, the lady that was bleeding or something that she's dirty
Yeah.
or I don't know the name. My son,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just hugging. It's just we're all people. See the good in
Killing the
the
lepers. You
right.
never touch a leper.
Right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way I'm not going to talk to this guy. And even if not, like, even so. And another last segue. When I started at pharmaceutical, there was construction workers out there. And it's very well known that the doctors stick with doctors, scientists with science. So now I'm
Hmm.
managing some of these doctors, and believe it or not, and I'm not a doctor. I have no degree, none of that. So God is good. It's all God. So
Yes.
I'm talking to him. I talk to him all the time, I sat with the construction workers. Like this is like my first month there. I'm sitting with my construction workers. The guy was really nice, just sat with him. And I didn't have a tie on, but I was dressed up nice. And they're sitting there. So later on, I'm in a meeting. They're like, where, how come you didn't sit with us at lunch? I saw you way sitting over there. And they were nice. They didn't say nothing, but you could tell they felt a little certain way. And I just left them
Right.
alone. And the one person came up to me, not the construction worker, but another guy, said, that's really nice that you see people see people. You don't really look at them and judge them based off of appearance or this or that. And I said, absolutely not. Like, because I'm not perfect and none of us in this world are.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm not that person. And we all have that ability to do it. But I don't know why, if it's like I'm not a popularity contest. Like, I'm not that
Yeah.
guy. And I
Yeah.
think some people get funny in this world, I guess. It's okay. And I was one, I'm sure, when I was younger in high school, kids sport, but I was always like open to people.
Yeah.
Like
Makes
I
a
didn't get
difference.
into the cliques and all that. Like I love people. And that's one thing I get
Yeah.
that I'm very comfortable saying all the time. Like I just love working with people, getting to know people because
That's
there's always a
awesome.
story you can learn,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right?
So much so.
Well, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
That was reminds me of when when I'm traveling at the airport, and if I see people that are sweeping up or whatever, I try to say something to them. I know it's their job. Somebody said to me, it's like, you don't have to say anything, that's their job. They have to do that. And I go, well, I can still say thank you,
Yeah,
and it just kind of blew their mind away. Why would you say thank you for them doing their
it's
job?
beautiful.
It's like, because, and I noticed this last time I was in the restroom, and this lady had just been cleaning up, and everybody's coming and going, and I waved at her and she smiled, and I thought she's open. And so I just stepped over a couple of steps and I said, thank you for what you do every day. I
Beautiful.
really appreciate how hard you work. And it's just like, boom, this smile went across her face. And it's like, we need to tell people thank you. And I always try to make it a point to say, even if I just say thank you, it makes a difference.
It does. It's funny. It's almost verbatim what I say to my people every call. Is there anything I do before I close this call? And they're like, no, we're pretty good. Okay, thank you for all you do because I've been in your shoes and I just really
Yeah.
appreciate it genuinely. And so it's funny you say that. Wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
See how like we are? We're all
Good
like, and people
people.
just got to
Yeah.
find them. They just got to find, we all have it. It's just
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
awesome. Now, where are you
Yeah.
from? What area are you
I'm
from?
in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Oh, okay. That's a nice
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. It is. We've
How's
got,
the weather there? How's the weather there now?
it's weird.
Yeah.
This year we've had rainstorms, thunderstorms, few tornadoes already.
Oh,
But yeah, we're still in, high 80s, high 90s.
okay.
Yeah.
Same. We're
Cool
same.
in the morning, and so it's kind of like, you get up in the morning, it's cloudy. Okay, is it going to be like this all day, or is it going to be nice in the afternoon? You just don't know.
Sounds
But
like Pennsylvania weather. I call it the lottery at 30, and then in the afternoon comes to 70 or 80, and then
yeah,
you're back to
there
30 or
you go.
90. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's nice here. We're kind of out in the country, so
Okay.
we've got deer. We've
That's
had
how.
had
Same.
turkeys that have come in.
Yeah.
Recently, there's a skunk that the puppy knows how to stay away from the spray, but still play with the skunk. And it's like, okay, um, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Armadillos are here. We had a roadrunner that's been in the
Oh,
yard a
really?
few
Yeah, we
times. As
haven't
long as the
had
puppy
them.
doesn't see it, then we're okay. Right now,
Yeah.
the puppy thinks everything is to chase.
Yeah, we get the deer, we got turkeys. Actually, they visit us frequently. We got pictures of them. I mean,
Oh,
the big ones.
nice.
There were 35 of them I counted because I live by a 45
Wow.
acre farm
Oh,
that I'm looking at.
wonderful.
And I would like, so I live in the woods. I'm sure you heard of the Smurfs. I make fun of it because I'm the
Yeah,
Smurfs. We live in like woods, literally. From where we were,
that's
we're like
awesome.
country, and I love it. We only got 3.5 acres, but it's
Oh,
acreage
it's nice
but it's
though.
nice enough. And I really would like, if God wills, to get at least a 20 acres next to us so my children don't go too
Oh,
far.
that would be wonderful.
And I'd like to have like
Yeah,
something there to do some events or something. I don't know what God has
yeah,
in plan. He laughs at us when we say our plans, so and he's
yes.
probably laughing now, but
But it
He
also
knows. He
says,
knows.
okay, that's a good plan. Let me
Yeah,
help you along with that.
we'll see what happens.
Let me tweak it a little bit for
It
you.
is a little bit, but yeah. And then I have like neighbors. It's just great. This area. It's just pitch black at
Yeah.
night. So we have bears, deer.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, we
You know,
get
we don't
bears.
have bears here.
Yeah, but we don't
Not
have
that I know of.
armadillo. That's kind of cool. I've never, or a
Yeah.
road. That's neat. I never even saw one of them other than a zoo.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we lived in Albuquerque area, there's roadrunners and stuff, and I was actually surprised to see any here, and then to have it come right through the yard. That was really
That's
cool.
awesome. Wow. I
Yeah.
just remember like Wild E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, like
Yeah.
back in the day. Like I used to watch it like
I watched that. My
that was my
husband had it
show.
on, and I'm thinking, okay, that does look, I always thought it was an ostrich, but now having seen
Yeah.
roadrunners, it's like, okay, so the neck is a little long. It's kind of like a mix between ostrich and a roadrunner.
Okay.
When it's running and stuff, yeah, that's what a
Are they
roadrunner
really
looks
fast too?
like.
Like they run
Oh,
like
super
that.
fast. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And they're great at getting snakes and all kinds of stuff. So
Oh my
they're
God.
good to have around.
Oh God, yeah. I wouldn't touch
Yeah.
them with snakes. I'm not a snake guy. We have
Yeah.
snakes and I'm not a snake guy. We have a water, like a saltwater pool,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's an in-ground. So every time they open it, the people we find snakes in
Oh,
the
really?
skimmer. Yeah, a couple. Not big ones, not poisonous, but just
Yeah.
the biggest one,
Couple
maybe
garter
20
snakes or
inches.
something.
Yeah,
Oh,
but some
yeah.
really color looking ones, like some green looking. There was a really nice looking snake. It had different colors, but my wife is like, I'm not going to pool till we like, I got it. We're good. We got it. The
Yeah.
boys, they like
That's
grab it.
interesting because we thought about putting a pool in. It's like, oh, I
A
never
lot of
thought
work though.
about the snakes. We've got a pond out there, and
There you
I
go.
was out there sitting one day, and all of a sudden the snake comes from the side, and it's just hauling. It is just going. It goes across the water to the other side, and it's not slowing down for anything. It looked
Wow.
like it was just a bull snake, but it's
Okay.
like, wow, that guy was moving fast. I have no idea what caused it to go so fast. Because that's
Yeah.
it's not a tiny pond, but it's not this big, huge monster pond.
Okay.
Put a boat or anything on it. But but yeah, just to see it just go shooting across. So I don't know if some bird was after it or what was going on, but
That thing
it
was
was
cooking.
not stopping.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, well, I should let you go. I don't want to take up all of your day, but wow, I really appreciate us getting together and getting to know you. I appreciate David connecting us together. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes.
And yeah, I've got the magazine Wisdom on the Front Porch if you want to write an article for it, just
Okay.
dip your feet in it a little bit, see what it's like to write.
Okay.
Keep it under 1,000 words. You can have illustrations too if you want,
Okay.
and just a 50-word bio.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
definitely.
and
Oh,
with your
awesome.
headshot, of course.
Yeah, I'll do the best. Like I said, writing, I like it though. It's interesting, definitely. I just got to
Yeah.
figure out the formatting. But yeah, I definitely have a story. Plenty of things I
Yeah.
can tell you.
And
That's
you can
interesting.
just, this first one, if you want to just keep it simple, that, yeah, even though I'm in pharmaceuticals, what I really have a passion for
Okay.
is, and then
Blah
kind
blah
of
blah.
talk
Okay.
about that and maybe your plans for doing it. It's the
That's
theme
good.
is,
There you
what
go.
did I say, is
Yeah.
living your life to the
Living life on
fullest.
your terms or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
And
building your business or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so just kind of touch on that a little bit. Be sure and include any links on how to get a hold of you. So,
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's helpful.
alrighty.
Like they're perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Absolutely. Can't
Oh,
wait
my
to connect
pleasure.
again. Reach out anytime, and I'm sure we're going to talk again for
Okay,
sure.
yeah. When you want to take that leap to just, I'm just going to go for writing the book and let's figure
Oh,
it out. Well,
let's do it.
let me know.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Alrighty.
I'll
Okay.
talk to you soon. Take care.
All
Bye bye.
right. God bless you.
God bless you. Yes. Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Wisdom on the Front Porch with your host, Ellis Kirkpatrick. You can find us on our website, wisdomonthefrontporch.com, see previous episodes of the podcast, and view issues of the magazine. Did you know you can submit questions, leave reviews, or suggest topics? You can also tell us where your favorite front porch location is and what it means to you. We hope you gain value and insight from today's or previous talks. We appreciate your support for us so we can continue to provide value and expertise to you and others. Subscribe to Wisdom on the Front Porch magazine and join in next week when we bring you another great insight into the world of entrepreneur culture and lifestyle. Make today a great day. Always believe that something wonderful is going to happen.